And now we're kicking things off here with the first map. It's our first grand final of the year, of the season 2026. Let's head straight into it. We are in hot zone, open business, and we want to see some more of those buffy brawlers. That wish is granted. Two of them banned out here with Ems and Mortis from ABC and Zeta division respectively, and then Spike and Frank already picked up. Now against the Frank, you need some damage, and you already have that with the Spike. You need some more tank counters to make sure he can't even just walk into mid with a healer in the back, because we still have a Pam open, we have Poco open. Both of those options would mean that Frank can just walk in a straight line, and it's something we've seen from Zeta division today.
Yeah, Frank Byron definitely could be an option here. Mina gonna come in though, and I do quite like that brawler pick. The loot, it's still a bit of a question mark for me. Is it fallen off? Is it still viable? It's, for me, always good, but I feel like the pros have kind of like maybe just let it go a little bit recently.
I'm curious to see what they pair this with. It's just hyper-aggression coming out of them. Mina almost has to be the mid in this situation, I think. A lot of these drafts are revolving around Frank. The fact that Zeta division go Frank early. ABC are going to grab Lou, who's going to be anti-freeze, going to be trying to take down these warm-hearted tanks with some icy shots. And then Spike, of course, just insane amounts of DPS. Easy super feeder onto somebody like Frank. I would love to see ABC kind of round out this composition here. My only thought is that there is potential for wall break, which actually I think plays to a disadvantage as Zeta division if Frank supers are running rampant. So I'm curious if ABC double down on that. Instead, they're just going to grab Kenji up in the faces. We know what that guy can do on the Kenji on top of that.
I love what Umesh is cooking on the side of Zeta division. We kept talking about how they bring in 2 tanks in every single round. We talked about how maybe Poco, Pam, or Byron would have been a nice addition. Never mind. We're just bringing in 3 aggressive brawlers here on the side of Zeta division. And we do have 2 answers on the side of ABC with the Lou and Spike. But honestly, at this point, Zeta division might just walk in a straight line and win again.
It's definitely an option, isn't it? It really is. Certainly, I want to see how this Lou fares and whether they can really start to cycle all of these ice rings onto that zone. That's going to deter and delay the onset. So it's going to be down to a Chappie to get some good value off the back of it. But DeCampo, look how beefy he really is on that Frank, and with the shielding as well, it's going to go a long, long way.
Windbreaker going down, and that gadget going to be very vital for this roster. Lou and Spike are going to have those projectiles at their side. Super going down, make it a double. They're trying to get down Chitampo's health points as much as possible. Mina now backing away. Kaze has to lurk on this left-hand side, and Kenji going up into the sky. 1v1 interactions galore. Nonetheless, it's still Zeta division holding on. Another gadget being popped, a kill being traded. Chitampo, the last bastion of defense for this roster. Now the red side taking full advantage here. 30% and climbing. Zeta division with a great start.
Kenji, low HP, got to be able to evade these shots and keep his team in this mid. Now sweeping to the right-hand side lane, into the hands of Chitampo, not going to be ideal, and he will fall down here. Zeta division approaching 70% now. Time is not on the side here of ABC. Hypercharge, Spike swoop down in the mid. Batman, lovely windmill gadget there, just in the nick of time, but Kenji might be too much to contest with now. Chitampo still in this mid, surviving on with the help there of Suzuku. And now Zeta approaching 90%.
So aggressive, but it's working so well. Just from multiple angles, ABC are feeling a huge front of offense, climbing their way up to 100% our Zeta division. Smooth sailing, to say the least, in game number 1.
Let's see how or if ABC will adapt to this situation. Definitely seemed quite calm on the side of Zeta. All aggression, but it was just, again, very calculated, not sloppy, and just really on point. So ABC will have to break them in other ways. Let's see, Chitampo still staying on that right-hand side. Still looking into the hands of the Lou. He seems okay with it for now. This mid, Kenji still dancing with Suzuku. He places down the first fan storm of this game. Again, Zeta playing the objective, now at 20%.
Lots of rotations going on. I think ABC recognized that they need to stick that Lu on Frank, but of course with the gadget that Mina holds, they're going to try and rotate Mina onto the Lu. And so far, Zeta Division are winning this musical lanes battle. Super available, and Ice Ring could go down, and that's a great way to keep enemies off the hot zone. Look how it covers the entire little center area and a little bit more. That's free reign for a Chappie, that's free percentage points, and despite his teammates possibly going down, percentage points are being built.
Yeah, and that's just directly converted into objective power. That's what I was saying coming in, that Chappie's going to have his work cut out. He needs to cycle them in more frequently. You can already see what a difference that has made alone. ABC approaching now towards 50%, but it is now Zeta back on the zone and having something to say for this.
All three members there, and with no wall break, they can just hide behind these walls comfortably, regain health points. I mean, Shitampo is just sitting alone right now, watching his teammates put in work. Here comes a big hammer hit, though, just popping the hypercharge for extra stats. A lot of the times, pro players will be very calculated. Just because they activate hypercharge doesn't mean they're going to use super. I think, especially in this situation, they don't necessarily want to break those walls. I think that was intelligent. Maybe they didn't get the most value out of it, but it's better than wasting a super.
Well, it makes the most sense with a Frank. I mean, that hammer blow repetitively done with the hypercharge in play now with the help of the Buffy. It's just brutal. As is this first set, ABC cannot seem to break through whatsoever. 90% now. It's going to be a whole team wipe and a solid holding for ABC, which is just not going to happen at this rate. 100% Zeta in the first set in a very convincing fashion.
Solid showing to start things out, and from what many consider to be one of the top contenders walking into this month, they're certainly acting like it. Also, mad respect on the player cam. I never understand how Shitampo has that flexibility to be so crouched over and playing Brawl Stars at the same time, to be that talented and that flexible. Athlete, just an athlete.
Lots of yoga as well. You know, I certainly wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not cut out for that at all. My back is as good as my neck these days, and I'll tell you, my neck is not great. So, for Zeta, again, they just look calm. They're chilling, they're happy, they're smiling, as this region tends to do generally, but I would safely say that for ABC, you know, they're going to be a bit more nervous. They haven't been in this spot for quite some time, whereas for Zeta, they were hit time and time again last season. This is their bread and butter. And I said coming in, I need to see what this Lu was going to bring. And Chappie didn't really bring much in terms of kills. That's safe to say. Not enough ice rings, and especially against brawlers like a Frank, you know, you should be able to cycle a bit more convincingly, and that just turned in against the objective for them.
Zeta Division strike me as unfazed, and I think this stat line kind of backs it up too. I mean, 7 kills on Batman alone, 7 kills entirely on the other side for ABC. It was not close. A battling and a brutal beatdown coming in that first set. I just need to see ABC step up a little bit more there. Obviously, the expectation wasn't even necessarily for them to make it at this point. Even if they got swept 3-0, it would hurt in the moment, but I think if you asked them before the monthly finals, would you take making it there? Grand finals sounds pretty good to them, I'm sure. Zeta Division certainly meeting my expectations. I don't expect it to be that dominant the whole way through, but if that's a telltale sign of how things are going to go the rest of the day, I think Zeta are poised for greatness.
Yeah, I mean, if it is that easy, then it is that easy. I think that ABC, though, have got so much credentials to their roster that they should be able to come back together and at least give it a bit more back and forth. I think that did come down a little bit more to draft, and you know, we said coming in that Zeta Division having Meshi now at the helm when it comes to those drafts and brawler picks. It's been making a big difference here today. It really has for me from what I've seen. So can they continuously keep this up? That is the question. Or will ABC just not take this lying down?
I would say Zeta Division in recent couple years that this roster's kind of essentially been together, at least 2 of the 3 core members, right? They've always been an aggressive team. This is a whole nother level of tripling down on aggro brawlers or tanks. I mean, they didn't have a traditional mid in that. Mina was their mid, which I think is viable. I think it's fine because it's such a great brawler, but I think it just goes to show they're unafraid to just roll with what they're confident in. It's a combination of good brawlers, but also fits their play style. And I think Memeshi is just fully embracing that. I think it's a good thing. You want to play to your team's strengths while also making sure that ABC can't get what they're comfortable with, and I think they're doing a fantastic tandem of both.
Speaking of that very thing, you saw just how many kills Kenji had in that first set. I mean, he couldn't really do more, to be completely honest, so, you know, I hope that he keeps that up. But I also hope that his teammates kind of join him in that regard to bring something to the table here, because Zeta Division are an absolute beast in this region. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They didn't end 2025 nearly as strongly as they looked throughout the main regular season of play in 2025. This was the #1 seed that absolutely battered all their opposition throughout the monthly finals, and looking like they are back on top so far, but there's still plenty of time for upsets, of which we've had many here today.
Zeta Division yet to bleed. I think that's something that ABC need to show, that these guys are good, but they're beatable. After all, we have a double world champion on our side. We have somebody that played alongside Chitampo and was right there at one point in time. The upside is there for ABC. The draft has to be perfect, though. You saw, even with what triple aggro could look like, Zeta Division can still thrive. ABC just have to be strategical. They have to play perfect. That's a high bar to set, but this is the grand finals after all. If you want to win, you have to have a special day.
Absolutely. Layer cake. Next map. Zeta Division taking their Mortis away from ABC, as we know. Kenji would have loved to have got his hands on it. So the question is, how do they play around it and how they counter out? Is their answer for it. Certainly on this kind of map, there's definitely still options for me. I wouldn't mind necessarily a Grape, wouldn't be the worst of ideas to consider here. But the bans being the Ali, the Shade, the Rico, the Spike, the Ems, and the Mina as well. Tanky Brawlers, I think it's still a place for something like Frank, honestly. I think that having that and just running down, beelining towards your opposition's spawn side could very much be a good strategy, just to herd them into the corner.
My opening thought is it's Gene who does poke damage, Cord who doesn't do an insane amount of damage and doesn't have range. Cord's a great one-on-one matchup, but I feel like, yeah, Colonel Ruffs or Gus or something as like a little extra range, and you're also beefing up your brawlers either through a shield, which would have been Gus, or through Colonel Ruffs. You have field promotion as a possibility, and the longer you sit next to Colonel Ruffs when he's running that star power, you passively gain overall health points until you die. The only thing scarier than Mortis is a beefed up Mortis, extra HP, and if they really wanted to get frisky, if Mortis gets takedowns, he has a star power possibility where he can gain additional health points as well. This could get terrifying, and now they add Pierce, a borderline #1 brawler in the game, to this equation. This is a great start for Zeta Division.
Yeah, it's a very tasty comp so far, not gonna lie. And ABC just double down on these kind of limited range ideas. Certainly Lily can be very aggressive, but Ruffs does have sandbags, and Pierce as well, if the shells are kind of scattered on the map, can have that defensive maneuvering. I just kind of wonder like how ABC are going to kind of make this comp work. Going to be, I assume, depending a great deal on the healing puffs of Gene and just kind of holding fort together as a unit. But Zeta Division have just got a much more rounded idea. They've got the range, they've got something that over time is only going to enhance their comp. And the Mortis, that's the kind of weak link potentially here. I mean, but since the buff is, it's much easier to make Mortis work.
Zeta Division with a flare of aggression in Mortis, but completely switching up what we saw in game #1. Colonel, Ruffs, and Pierce, certainly more control options, but this one relies entirely on Lily, in my opinion. If she's not popping off, ABC don't stand a chance. So the fact that they grab Blue Star to switch to their side and a couple kills early on is huge for them.
Well, Lily on the right-hand side, found out. Chitampo has to be cautious here. Can't overextend. Batman starting to make a flank on this top left-hand side. Kenji is the key man here with 4 stars and that blue. If Zeta can find him, they'll be able to come back with some serious goods. They have split across the map. And Shappy now separated and very much vulnerable. Gets taken care of. 9 stars, now 11 to ABC. They're on fire right now.
Not a fair trade. I mean, Kenji as the blue star carrier doesn't really have to push the enemies. He can wait on defense, and I think Gene says the same thing. Great gadget choice. Look at that 1-2 punch. They go for a stun of the Cordelius gadget along with the magic hand to pull in the enemies. This is excellent work. Now a gadget to disappear from Lily. Perfect execution so far from ABC. This is unbelievable considering what we saw just one set ago.
Yes, they just don't look in sync with each other whatsoever. Chitampo's so low, they're surprised that didn't avail to the takedown, but nonetheless, Lily goes in, but look at that. Batman finds the pickup. Now there's only 2 stars in it. Zeta brought us back in a tremendous way, and the stars now really much more towards their favor. They've got time as well on their side. If they can find 2, they've got the blue. It would be enough to make a steal.
Pierce's super will push them back as well, so with 25 seconds on the clock, it's going to be the red roster on the back heel. That's not where they want to be. They're going to feed a hypercharge over to this Mortis. Chitampo with 3 on his noggin has to get in their faces. They have no other choice, and with the countdown going, he's getting a hyper super. Now Gene will try to match. The pull goes through. Oh, but he collects too many brawlers. Suzuki steps back with Blue Star on their side. They're trying to run for the hills. Lily dives in, though. Perfect precision, backing off. Shadow Realm to disengage the Mortis. Beautifully done. ABC, while it was a close call in those final moments, just clutch.
It takes a very, very calm head to look down the barrel of a Mortis with Hypercharge in a meta of buffies when the stars depend upon your survival. That was honestly very well fared by ABC to come out on top, because I did not have many hopes for them in that regard. They started off so strong, so explosive. Zeta took definitely a lot of time before they started to cook here, so I'm looking to see how Zeta will start to make a bit of a different mark on this set.
No kills quite yet. Each side just working for positioning, utility. The more supers they have in their pocket, the easier it is to grab kills. Lily, of course, doing her work early on. Having a Shadow Realm accessibility through super or gadget makes her a deadly damage dealer. Now she's looking for a connection just off. Mortis, of course, without mobility, can just swipe away with a regular attack and get out of it easily.
Yeah, really nice there from Chitampo. Nice dodge. Now earns super as well, but muted out. That could have been dangerous. Oh, very close stuff. Zeta now pushing themselves back into the small side with 3 stars and the blue. It's getting quite tense as Icy looking to spot the opportunity on this right-hand side. Great Pierce, slow there into the mid as well. A Chappie forced back, but has got magic hand. If that connects, it should have been able to kill the help of the Lily.
ABC are doing their best to corral Zeta Division, but of course Chitampo can dash across the map. A dive in from Lily, immediate Shadow Realm, about half HP, poke damage coming out of a Chappie. Chitampo, though, smells blood in the water, knows he has a kill lined up, and it's still 0 stars for ABC.
I'm loving how Chitampo is playing this Mortis on defense. Not outstaying his welcome, trying to come in at just the right times, but look at a Chappie. This magic hand hits, it could be enough. And with a 3 versus 2, more stars could fall after it. But look at this, separating yet again. A Chappie from the herd. Hypercharge miss from IC. That is devastating. And taps from Batman could seal his demise, and they do. Zeta on 7, 0, nothing to say from ABC.
With Lily gone from the equation, that had to be a win there. Lily needs to take down these squishier brawlers, but that hypercharge is something that might cost them this game, number 1. Now a flank on the right-hand side, another super available, but not enough for redemption. Plenty of stars left for Zeta Division as Chitampo will run to the top right-hand side. They righted the wrongs of the previous game. That was a much better performance out of them.
Again, adaptations. That is going to be the word that I feel like I'm going to be saying a lot in 2026. The ability to adapt on the fly, especially when you look at how convincing that first game really was in favor of ABC, to now be looking in this spot 1 game away from being 2 sets up because of just slowing down the pace, communicating more effectively, not taking chances. Now ABC a little bit on the back foot. Icy repositioning himself from that Lily pick on the left-hand side now. Are Zeta aware of it? That's the question.
I don't think they are. Suzuki's been kind of tiptoeing his way around this to try and not feed a super. He did early on, but I think they're aware. Chitampo's trying to hover around this wall. I think just trying to bait something out, but IC not moving a muscle. Has a super available, so Mortis will take a trade. There's some serious mind games going down. Yeah,
that's speeding this hypercharge as well. Now Chitampo, yeah, exactly where you're going to go now, buddy. Has to dash away just in the nick of time, but he will get tapped up a lot by a Chappie, and Kenji trying to make good on this right-hand side to pick up the scraps. Has now the round, forced Suzuki into it, but then chooses to come back, regroup, and push together as a squad.
Significantly more neutral in game number 3. We've seen all sides of the coin here in this bounty set. No kills so far, though. Blue Star is the only thing giving Chitampo and his teammates a lead. Red roster still pressing them, though. They're trying to branch out. I think they know if they get caught in their spawn, Pierce, Rust don't nearly have the ability as if they were in open space.
Lily Hypercharge could be used in this map specifically to bounce off the wall, to connect with whoever it is that you're looking to isolate from the squad. And if you can do that and make it someone in the realm, then it's 2 versus 2. Here we go. It finds Suzuki. Low gets taken care of. 2 for ABC to the 1 of Zeta. Zeta now going on the aggressive. 20 seconds left on the clock, but not much utility. Chitampo can't really do much. He needs to have something.
Suzuki back in action. Colonel Ruff's not a top fragger that you need in moments like this. They're going to have to rely on Chitampo to get up in the faces of ABC. All three members, though, standing tall, rotating to the right-hand side. Zeta Division have to chase them down. One star being the separator, a dive in, Lily underground, and all safe and sound. ABC have tied it up.
That was not an easy game at all for ABC. So much pressure. I can't express enough how hard it is to come back when you're 2 sets down. So keeping things afloat, I would say, under an enormous amount of pressure. You've got to give ABC credit for that, no matter what happens next. But Zeta certainly will be looking back at that and seeing it as a missed opportunity. I feel like going in that final game, they could have done and made a bit more of it. That second game, for me, was really where they shone and just forced the hand more on ABC. I think ABC had just too much map control that game. Like you mentioned, mind games galore with that Cordelia's pick and the Lily as well. And that's kind of, for me, what helped out, just feeding into Icy time and time again. He had hypercharge more often than not.
Invisibility is such a powerful tool in this game. And simply one Shadow Realm gadget out of Lily puts Zeta Division in a perplexing situation. They have to send Mortis out. Oh, where did she go? And at the same time, you could see Lily just not moving a muscle and charging a hypercharge. And that is devastating. You can see it in the kill count too. Lily being good in that set made all the difference.
It was super well played for both of those teams. It looked like Zeta Division was able to turn things around in that game number 2, but this is actually the first time they've lost today. They run through 3-0 every single time they faced against one of their East Asian teams. Their opponents 3-0 in the end. Now this is gonna be the first game they lose of the day. ABC might be able to turn this one around and turn it into their favor. And once again, how nice would it be to have an upset to end the day with?
Absolutely so. I mean, I think for Zeta, I would kind of feel for them if that were the case, because I feel like they could just use a bit of a break, especially because we've been so hard on them, but rightly so because we say it how it is here, right? But for ABC, I think that would be like certainly the more interesting storyline if that were to be the case. I think for Zeta, a redemption story if they were able to go all the way as well. So either way, it's kind of like a win-win for us here on the desk, is kind of why we love to be in the position that we are in. But for ABC, I think it says a great deal more in regards to how they are keeping their cool, because Zeta should be doing that more often than not. For ABC, it's been a long while since being in the spot.
I just like how this day is shaping up. We started off with 2 3-0s right out of the gate, and now we had so many 3-1s at least. We're heading into map number 3. It's not going to be our last one either way. It's just 1-1, so everything's still open. We're heading over to Death Cap Trap. I love this map. It's one of the newer ones in the game, but I feel like you can play literally anything on here. Gus, probably the best gem carrier on the map, would actually be left open here. I'm looking forward to also some Rico or Ruffs maybe. They can use the walls in this map pretty well, such as Shade as well. He's going to be having a field day with all of these walls. Zeta Division once again with Mortis. Kenny, that looks a bit dangerous for ABC. I'm surprised he's actually not banned out.
Yeah, Tara going to come in here too. Mortis certainly one that could have made the ban stage. Shade is a first overall pick. Not necessarily surprising. I feel like this is one of the maps he shows up the most actually in our pro scene. No IMS, no Spike. So we're going to have to get a little more creative in terms of the side lane damage dealer type sprawlers. And I think that's where Tara comes in. I think she's in a comfortable spot. If you really want Tara, you can grab her. She's not really going to be banned in gym grab these days. But a big reason she's going to show up is kind of as a little bit of an anti-tank vision as well, depending on the gadget you're running. But on top of that, the super and especially the hypercharge one can shift an entire match. It's one of those brawlers similar to Lily like we saw in the last one. If you use a hypercharged super, you can steal gems, disappear. You don't even have to be winning the entire game. You just have to walk away.
Speaking of Lily, it could be on the cards here potentially. It's the kind of perfect map for it to play those mind games and just continue to lurk within those back lines. Especially if you're low, you can't really go back then without kind of just second-guessing yourself and having to double-check everything along the way. So Shelly, though, is going to come in for ABC. It is that hard answer to the Mortis. I quite like it.
Apart from the Shade, this draft just puts me back into 2021, 2022 Brawl Stars. We have Sandy and Tara on the map. They've been super strong back then. We haven't seen them in a while. I wonder if Tara's going to show up as often also in other regions, or if it's going to be our East Asia special for this month. Shelly, obviously, back in the meta because of the Buffy. But yeah, Sandy and Tara are 2 brawlers for me that, honestly, I did not see coming into today. At least not as often as they've been picked up in reality. Stu, one of the first first showings, if not the first of the day. Obviously, also quite a mobile brawler. Zeta Division once again with that double tank or double aggression with the Terra. And Stu, a very good pick here for a gem carrier, Kenny.
Stu not at the top of my list, at least in notoriety for this current meta, but I do think it's a worthwhile shout. I think it's something that Zeta Division over the years are very comfortable with, especially with the mechanical prowess that they show. That's one that I imagine they'll utilize quite well.
Speed Zone, I think, would be my preferred gadget for sure. Just have everyone with more options to maneuver in that mid, especially the Mortis and the Tara. They're a long, long way here. Tampa going to wall break, going to open up their entire right-hand side, so no Speed Zone. Let's see how that fares for Suzuki, really. If they can keep that wall there, it would be quite helpful. Now they're kind of pushing back forwards of Icy on this left-hand side. Suzuki now pinched out. Yeah, that's not great.
The more wall break they can get, the easier it is into somebody like Shade. The less advantage he can take. Sure, he can still dash forward at you with that shield, but of course, piercing through walls is really where Shade shines. Ooh, and a massive pull right there. Doesn't really get any kills and gets shut down as well. Kenji popping off on the top-hand side. Looking for another takedown as Batman has to move all the way to the bottom of this map. Zeta Division have lost any leverage they had in the middle.
Yeah, Batman now in a tough spot because he's chosen to shoot and not heal, and obviously trying to evade that radius of the Shade to feed the super, and he was that close away from it too. Great work from Suzuki there, being very astute.
The good news is Mortis isn't carrying a single gem. On the other hand, Shelly can't defend herself, but I think ideally you want somebody like Sandy probably carrying those. Now takedown there. Shatampo skating up and down the map. Shade with a hypercharge, but erased instantly. And with 12 seconds to go, not a brawler in sight. Kenji has to pop this hypercharge out of just desperation at this moment. Mortis going to be playing bodyguard, doesn't mind going down, just trying to buy time for the teammates to rotate all the way to the bottom. One big butt blast could have made the difference, but unfortunately just a second too late.
Yeah, 2,500 HP, that's a decent amount. Could have been a lot closer though, just even half a second there, and we may have seen a bit of a different outcome. And with all three members of ABC, that could have been quite disastrous for Zeta, but for the most part, I mean, really quite calculated in that last game. I mean, Shatampo really is the man to cater the map towards the comp here, and that really deflated what Icy could bring to the table.
Shatampo instantly breaking a wall as well, so Shade has to back off. He's either sitting in the middle of the map where Stu can get easy shots, cycle in those supers, and that's something you don't want to see. And right now, Shatampo's just getting his way. Shade hasn't really found his footing on this map yet. I think especially when you draft him early on, Shade is a great brawler, but it's something that can certainly be countered. Something as simple as wall break obviously makes a difference.
Well, vision out for Batman, so a lot of information on which Suzuki can capitalize on. 3 gems drop now with the help of that Tampo takedown of Kenji, but no one is going for them just yet. Icy has escaped into the back lines now, and that means that Tampo just can't come back as easily as that. He's going to find the pinch between himself and Batman. On the top side, there is still action going down. The Chappie falls, and now Kenji with 3 gems, really aggressive on that right-hand side.
Shade up in the face of Tara. That's a win for Shade. Mortis on the other side, though, doing quite the opposite. It's a back and forth. All the gems spilling off screen, though. Batman barely connecting with that hypercharge. Can't illustrate enough how big of a connection that is. That keeps Zeta Division in this game. If they got away with the gems, would have been terrible. Instead, it's Suzuki making magic happen. Now 10 gems in the pocket of Zeta Division. Shatampo can afford to play defense with the 6th one being scooped by Suzuki. Hypercharge across the map in a blink of an eye. A Choppy can't close the distance. Tara super doesn't connect, does not matter. Zeta Division crushing this set will take the lead in the match.
You can just see the confidence there exuding towards the end. Couple of pins from Shatampo. The mechanics back it up, and that is the key here. That was a really convincing set. Suzuki with that Mortis, wonderful stuff. Beautiful hypercharge on that return as well, following up with another gadget, the combo spinner, everything laid into that Shelly. Not a thing that ABC could do about it. Now it could be that Zeta Division just go all the way and seal it in the next.
Brilliant bounce back from Zeta Division, especially in a set where it wasn't the best showing for them. Obviously, it was the worst set they had all day. It's the only one they've lost after all. But nonetheless, love that they put that behind them. Did a draft that worked into the enemy composition. I think played to the strengths of them as players. Shatampo on that Stu was certainly one to watch for me. I think the wall break with the Stu was a creative solution into something like the first pick Shade.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I want to see those stats now, because Mortis has been the most picked up brawler with the best win rate across the board in scrims. I was so surprised to see him not banned out by ABC, yet still they pick up Shade as first pick. And as we see here, I don't really think that Shade first pick was actually warranted.
I felt like they were just kind of drafting what each other were kind of thinking. Just I mean, Shade is predominantly a very Zeta brawler pick, and it could just simply be that idea of like, well, we know that we're kind of scared to play into it, so let's just kind of take it off the table and then see what happens. But you can't play that way in drafts. You've got to have an answer for everything in the strategy, a firm strategy going in. If you're playing catch-up, it's only ever going to go one way.
Not only the Mortis played out super well here for Zeta Division, also Stu, that we didn't really see coming, had the most DPS actually. It's not something that we usually see on a Stu, because his reload speed is quite slow. We usually say, oh, he's not that good into tanks, he doesn't do that much damage, but despite him being the gem carry, he did a lot. He pulled a lot of weight in this Kenny.
Yeah, I think in terms of matchups, this was a much better thing instead of something like a Frank, where it's a super feeder, but to your point, even if Stu uses a full magazine, what is he doing, a third of Frank's HP? So I think this was a spot where he could shine. The other side didn't have too many high health pool brawlers, so if you're going to pull out a Stu, which we rarely see in this current meta, I think that was an excellent time to pull that decision off.
I want to see some more of those surprising brawler. We're basically through the day. We're on the last match of the day in the grand finals, and yet still we're seeing some brawlers that we have not seen just yet. We're heading over to our potentially last map now. It's Sneaky Fields, and if Zeta Division takes this one, sadly the day is over. It's fortunately not the last of this monthly final, of the February monthly finals overall, but the last of East Asia. And Sneaky Fields used to be very Rico heavy, Rosa. Which of those brawlers do we still see today, Ark?
I would say that actually, to be honest, well, certainly not the Rico because it's banned, but for me, it's all about the tanks on this map, really. I mean, that's kind of where things lie. Poco's open here. That combination is just going to be devastating to shut down. Mortis still open. ABC will snap it up. Mina here as well. I think that windmill gadget is just so suppressive, but also that ability to maneuver around. It's going to do a lot here.
I'm going to call it out early in case either of these sides elect to do it, but Bull is a brawler that's shown up quite a bit on this map in particular, and I think having a shotgun brawler with great mobility is a good answer into either Frank or Mortis. I could see them trying to remove that from the equation, but there's also anti-tank brawlers you have to be aware of. Obviously, Spike and Im's gone. Otis, one of those popular ones. Shelly banned as well, so I think tanks are going to have a green light here for the most part.
Otis, Cornelius, and Charlie are those brawlers that we've seen quite often today as the tank counters. I could see it on both of those sides. Charlie also especially good into the Mortis. Makes a lot of sense to me now that ABC pick up the Mortis after deciding to go with Shade instead in the previous map. Shade itself, though, would also still be a very good pick here. In Zeta Division, so far, again, they have picked up a lot of double tanks or double assassins in their comp, so I kind of do expect them to go with another one here.
I wouldn't mind the Willow, honestly. I mean, it's certainly a great answer to tanks and, you know, can just whittle down, keep that visibility most importantly on a map like this with so much push. That poison will really give a helping hand of information and the mind control to defend. That's kind of where mine's at here, but Cornelius is a great response to be able to eradicate the Mortis and just really cause an issue with that. And again, more information gathered. That radius that Cornelius has, you can relay that onto your teammates to get some idea as to where someone could be lying in wait.
I think Pierce is going to be a solid mid option for them as well. Grabbing one of the best brawlers in the game as your final selection, not a bad beat. Obviously going to be able to outrange Poco. The question is, are ABC going to be able to equip themselves with a brawler that boosts even more health points? Because where Poco shines is he can distribute that bubble with the hypercharge, he can heal you. So if you've got enough health points to go around and not enough damage output on the other side to match, you can really just run away with it.
No double tank on the side of Zeta Division. We have a bit of everything now with the Pierce coming in mid and then Cornelius to deal with Mortis. Really like that come from Zeta. Now question is this going to be the last map of today of the February monthly finals, or can ABC prolong this match a bit longer with a Nita last pick?
It's not the craziest of things, it's not the flashiest for sure, but I mean, Pierce, especially against Bruce with shielding, it does take a lot of time to whittle down. I think the question really for me is, can ABC really cycle these Bruce Bears enough to warrant the pick? The Poco as well, it will allow Nita to be a bit more aggressive to go on the offensive to be able to earn that utility. I just kind of feel like Zeta are playing what is present at the moment. Buffy's brawlers, the Franks, the Pierces, it just for me says potentially a winning comp.
Been a long offseason for Zeta Division. Last time we saw them in 2025, it was a season of embarrassment. Now in a grand finals back on their home turf, they need to step up and take advantage. This is a great start in set 3. Look at the chemistry going down. A super pass forward, the assist, and a knockdown into the net. Early lead for Zeta Division.
That is a fantastic way to kick things off. Tampo, not going to really super into much there. Trying to find Kenji, but it's such a tough ask here. As he's just being danced around. Batman's low. As is Tampo, everyone on Zeta's side knows that it's best to pocket the ball and fight for another day.
In terms of wall control too, it's Zeta Division that control it, so that 4-pronged wall on that bottom left-hand side is a perfect way to castle that ball. It's going to be very difficult for ABC to grab this. Zeta Division can just rotate in brawlers. They're really going to be the ones determining when that comes out. Kenji, though, doing his best to make a play. Oh, a complete whiff with that super, though. That's probably the first time we've seen a bad Mortis play out of the man today.
I love the way that Zeta have just shaped the map and blown things wide open, because now Pierce can get so much more value. Those little shells that you're picking up are not going to be able to really find brawlers in the bush. That ult connect is not really going to be there and present, so the more of the map that Zeta can break, the better the Batman's chances of being able to survive are going to be.
Oh, this is brutal. I mean, Zeta Division, it's just a fire sale of frags, getting all the kills they want, having their way. The ball not even moved an inch. They're just worried about map control at this point. They're already up 1-0. This is a very defensive stance. They have to be careful. This is where the defense counts. They have a hypercharged super available for Cordelius. That ball, though, has not moved in about a minute. The only way they're going to grab it is if they find some frags. Suzuki dragging one down. That is not the start that ABC need. 2v2 situation. Hypercharge going down. Bats being cycled. Now a 2v1. Batman all alone. Kenji can dash forward in a choppy. Can walk this one in. Great response out of ABC. They were patient. They were calm. And they finally matched.
Yeah, Kenji did fantastically well there. He really took the right moment to shine. Can Zeta respond now? It's going to be tough to make this need to work in an overtime position, which effectively we're kind of already in with the way the map is situated. Batman has got to keep on tapping. Tampo's still healing, but with the ball, he's really victimized by the Mortis. Now the hypercharge for Chappie at a key moment. Kenji low. Batman gets a very important pickup there. And IC can't really do much now to just continue to tap, trying to get a boost for overtime.
The fourth brawler on the map is giving Batman fits right now. He has to run the way. They have to leave the ball as a result. Jitampo is either going to be dribbling this ball or doing his best to keep up with the distance. He's just so outranged.
Tampo pops the hypercharge, goes down, so a bit of a waste there, but Batman with super shots finds the pockets. That is crucial. It puts Zeta in a match point position.
One away. Been a long wait. Zeta Division, a catastrophe at the World Finals. Now looking to prove they're worth it. Batman trying to prove his worth to one of the biggest organizations in all of Brawl Star, one with a lot of history. Jitampo left behind in the GOAT conversation to old adversary Tensai. He left the team just a year ago, and now he's trying to prove he can get back on top. Jitampo sliding one in, and once again, Zeta take an early lead.
A speed run, a goal in the first 10 seconds. That's crazy. Zeta are absolutely cooking now. ABC have got to find a response. Kenji doing his very best, cycling, beautifully done. And maybe a moment here, a chance. As IC fumbles the ball a little bit, there should be enough time for an easy walk-in. And a good response in 20 seconds of that previous goal.
Great job on ABC to be unwavering, to still continue with the plan. Zeta Division still have their work cut out for them. Kenji now going right at Batman's face. They get a push away with the gadget, and now that's going to drag him down to the Shadow Realm. Kenji can't do a thing, just has to retreat for now. 580 HP, but Suzuku still on the prowl. ABC, all the red members standing tall, and Kenji trying to put himself in a spot where he can get an assist. Instead, it's going to be ABC, just maintaining positioning. They're not pushing it. As long as they have ball control, they have an advantage.
Tampa there having that hypercharge was really such an important moment, and just really utilizing that wall. Now going on the aggressive. That was a very important hit for Chappie. Just keeps him alive as the Korean super shot available for Tampo, and it's there! Zeta Division ended 2025 in doom and gloom, but it's a new year, new Zeta, and they are your champions for February.
Unbelievable performance out of Zeta Division. An embarrassment on the world stage. Expectations changes reality. It's just part of it. But they return home hungry, bloodthirsty, certainly on a warpath to start things out. And the poor suckers of ABC just happen to be the victims standing in their way.